What happens when a diverse group of entrepreneurs talk over beers about what it takes to succeed as a startup? We decided to find out what they said about advice to new entrepreneurs.
What else would you say to, a 20-something entrepreneur starting out on his or her own? Like, what is your piece of wisdom, or the mistakes you've made, or what do you look for besides the spreadsheet? Like, is there something, is there a sweet spot? Like, what is your piece of advice, your gift to budding entrepreneurs?
One thing that's always important, I think, you have to have a wow factor.
Right.
I mean, I like the dollars and cents. You always go back to the back of the offering memorandum. You look at the You look at the dollars and cents. Everybody does that. It's business. It's what we all got to do.
But they're never right. I mean, they're never ever right.
Well, yeah, that's of course that's true. You surround yourself with good advisors and team leaders and strategic partners that help narrow that gap. But it's always, your best estimate of what might become, and believing in the process to get there is part of having great team members to assist along the way. But I think it's important for all of us that there's something special about the message that we have to share. Call it wow factor, call it whatever you want, but it's part of that tenacity, the passion, the distinctive feature of what it is that we're trying to accomplish.
A lot of people are talking about sort of the new applications of ideas into existing spaces as being what innovation is all about. But I assume it's true whether you're building an airplane or trying to work in the digital space and reinvent e-commerce and group buying, that you need to focus on what the core elements of that innovation are. And I would say to keep it lean and to remember that a car doesn't need leather seats to run. And I'm sure your airplane doesn't need to think about putting movie screens in the headrest just yet. And the mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, make is to think about those bells and whistles and those features too early, as opposed to focusing on what the pain points are and what the customers are saying, and how they can address that through technology or through manufacturing.
So practical advice to those guys?
Yeah.
I mean, other than, looking for, the friends and family and the angels and all that, which kind of goes without saying, but also if there's if there's a particular area of the country that might understand what they're doing a little bit more than others. In our world, for example, Seattle was a fertile ground for us because Seattle is a mobile hub in the United States. So people understand the lingo, they know the technology, they know if you've innovated, why is that better than what's there? And they're more apt to perhaps give you money in a pre-revenue scenario. And the other sort of more practical advice I would give to these young kids that are out there doing it is A, great lawyer, great accountant, right? Even if you feel like you can't afford it at the beginning, figure out a way, because it's going to pay off in the long run. And then the last bit is more of, as you're building your business, build it, even though you're small, think of it as you're going to be big. So scalability. Think about, as I build my technology platform, am I going to just get something up that's quick and dirty so I can try to get some money in the door and get started? Or am I going to think it through a little bit further so I know that I can scale this thing and I'm going to be able to add layers to it, and it's not going to be this piecemeal project. And I think that translates to any kind of business. If you think about yourself as a larger company when you start small, as soon as you hit your 20th employee and you need HR, you've already thought through this.
Right.
So maybe a little bit of think big even when you're small, and get a good lawyer and a good accountant.
There's a good chance that you might not raise money in the beginning.
Right.
So figure out another way to do it and just get started.
Yeah.
If you've got a good idea, if you can't build it yourself, you need to find a co-founder that can build it for you, and give him whatever makes it worth his while. Raise money, raise convertible debt. That's what we did. We didn't raise money for the first 2.5 years of our company, and we would have never raised money if we would have waited for a Series A to come in. It just wouldn't have happened. So, go to your friends and family, go to Angels, take every meeting that comes your way, get yourself into every networking event that exists in your community, and just make it happen. And once you get started, and if you're building a solid product that provides value to your end consumer, money will come, I think.